We're back, and Leah, I mean, the conversation is just great. Let's kind of switch first and talk about some of the people that you've had the opportunity to work with.
I've just been really blessed to meet so many of the people who inspired me. You know, first, I can talk about the big names, but I want to talk about writers who are really accomplished that most people don't know. So people like Jerry Ward, who taught at Tougaloo for many years, for 30 years, is probably one of the most important literary minds in the country. He's probably the most noted Richard Wright scholar on the planet, and he was one of the first people that really said, you know what, son, this stuff, you know, it's not really that good, but if you work on it, it can be good.
It can be.
And so, Columbia Assalam, who again, noted literary figure, who was a friend with Dr. Ward and was able to take me under his wing and say, okay, here's how you can fix your work. And Reginald Martin, who teaches at the University of Memphis, was one of my early mentors, but also he's written a novel that the rights to that novel, everybody knows what time it is, was been purchased by Eddie Murphy's movie company. Amos Zubolton, another great poet. Charlie Braxton, a Mississippi native who is one of the most noted poets and then music scholars on the planet. But then just I've been fortunate that I've been able to work or be on panels with very noted people. Like I've been on panels with Nikki Giovanni. I've been on panels with Amir Baraka, Sonia Sanchez, so many people that I could name. Umar Ben Hassan, other last poets. I was able to go to D.C. The NAACP invited me to go to D.C. For a great poetry event they were having with the inauguration of Barack Obama. And then just for me personally, because this person was the reason I wanted to become an artist, I got to work for over a year with Prince. My second book was about his lyrics. And then after he read my book, and then I wrote some other articles about his situation with Warner Brothers, he invited me to come to work with him on a book that he was writing. And so we did enough work where we finished about 2 chapters. And the book never got finished, but that was just a highlight of my writing career, not from, say, a literary standpoint, but from an artistic standpoint, because as a creative innovator, just as a person who, in my mind, is the epitome of what a creative artist is, Prince was a person that just inspired me to want to be an artist. And then all those other literary figures I named, they were the ones that swayed me to writing as my tool. And so I've just been very blessed, and I have to thank Jehovah every day that I get to do what I want to do. And then I had great teachers at Jackson State. I had great teachers in high school, but so I was fortunate to have great English teachers in high school and great teachers at Jackson State. You got to tell that
story now about that teacher.
Dr. Grierson, who was a creative writer. So I had they were great English teachers, and they all would nourish me with knowledge of literature and language. But Dr. Grierson was a creative writer. She was a poet, and she was living like a creative writer. So I kind of gravitated toward her because, you know, she said that she was like, okay, you want to be a writer, you want to be a poet, you want to write short stories? And she just would grab me by the hand and take me to different conferences. And I remember the very first conference to which she took me, I don't even remember the name of it, but seeing all these writers on panel and talking about writing and living as writers, and that's what they did. They, you know, some of them were professors and they taught, but most of them were just writers, and they wrote for a living, and they published poems and they published short stories. And I remember being 18, 19 years old thinking, yeah, this sign me up. This now.
Yeah,
you get paid doing this. People, you pay your rent, you pay your light bill. As a writer, it's something you want to do
that you
love to do, and I was hooked. And so I always have to say thank you to all my professors at Jackson State, people like Dr. Marie O'Banner Jackson, and people like Dr. Ginn and Randy Patterson and Inez Morris. But I always have to, you know, look at Dr. Grierson because she was a living, breathing poet. And she took this little boy from Clarksdale, Mississippi, and said, okay, let me show you what it really means to be a writer, and how you send poems to magazines and how you get to conferences. So I'm just very, very blessed to have had
all those people surround you, so to speak.
Exactly.
Now let's talk just for a second. I know we're in the last segment, but we want to touch on just a little bit of this and that, but we're going to have you to come back.
Sure, most definitely.
But I know even in everything that you do, there's some difficulties. Just, you know, everything is not. So talk about that just for a second.
As a writer, you have to get used to rejection. And young people are so quick to quit.
Right.
You know, people see that I got all these publishing, and I've published this poem and that article, and I've done this, but you know, from 20 to even now, there's a whole lot of rejection slips.
You get more no's than you do
You
yeses.
get more no's, twice as many, 3 times as many no's. That's why you have to choose something you love, right? When I was talking about aesthetic and practicing and doing all those things, the #1 thing is keep your love as a writer. You may not be the kind of writer that I may be, but if you love writing, then do that. Find your audience. I quickly, I hope we have enough time. I want to tell the story. I was nominated for an award. The Tom Dent Award is an award out of New Orleans. And a good friend of mine, but we were the 2 finalists. And I lost. And the lady came and she asked me, she said, would I come and give a speech about Saadi Khalid and why he's a great writer? And I said, so you want me to basically say why he won? And she was like, yeah, like, let me think about it. When I hung the phone, I was like, no. And I remember I called Jerry Ward and I said, Doc, they want me to come give a speech and talking about why he won. He was like, well, do you like Saadi? I said, I love Saadi. He's a good friend. He said, do you think he's a quality writer? He's a wonderful writer. He said, you love Saadi. He's a quality writer. Why wouldn't you go? And I said, well, because I lost. He said, Sealy, do it. I said, why? He said, because writing careers are like God. They work in very mysterious ways. So I went and I gave the lecture about why Saadi was a quality poet and what made his writing so great. I got offers for 3 paid jobs that day. There were 3 people in the audience who came to me and said, can you come to my school and speak? Or can you come to our organization?
So we have to be open, learn to be open.
We have to learn to be open, and we have to know that just because you are rejected, it isn't the end of the world. And you have to take opportunities. So you have to find a passion, but you also have to be determined, and you have to keep doing it no matter what, if you love it. So it is difficult. It takes a lot of work. But you may not want to be the kind of writer Celie is. You may not want to be the kind of writer Nikki Giovanni is.
Right.
Write because you love it. But then be honest with yourself if you want to grow and get better. If you want to grow and get better, it takes work. May not be the kind of work I did, but if you love it, no matter what, if you want to be a good cook, you have to work at it.
It was great just to go through here and flip through. I had to print this because I've looked at it about 4 or 5 times. Don't have time to really get into it to talk about, but I wanted to mention 2 people in here that's a part that I still say a part of PEG.
Yes,
of course, David is no
Brown
longer
Williams
with
and
us.
Ken Stiggers.
And Ken Stiggers.
They're my writing buddies from way back, and what I'll say about them is that they not only made me a great writer, they made me a better human being. And I want to say to all young people, your job is one thing, but David and Ken proved that being a decent human being, being a human being of which God can be proud and your family can be proud. So even though David is no longer with us, I use David and Ken Stiggers as my measuring point, not just what kind of writer I want to be, what kind of human being I want to be.
Great, great. Now give us contact information.
You can contact me at psychedelicliterature.com. If you go to psychedelicliterature.com, you have the contact information, or you can just Google Black Magnolias Literary Journal. So if you
and
Google,
they can see this.
Yeah, you can see all the magazines, and you can see how to submit. It's a print magazine, but we have versions online for people to check out so they can decide if it's the magazine for them. So psychedelicliterature.com or Black Magnolias Literary Journal.
Okay, well that's all the time we got today, but I want you to come back.
Most definitely.
Keep us updated on what's going on.
Most definitely.
And I'm going to stay in contact with you.
Please do.
I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
That's all the time we have on Location TV for this segment. Catch us next time on Location TV.